Another week, another Strictly Auburn. Auburn is playing Mississippi State this week in Jordan-Hare at 2:30. First four SEC games, all losses. Let's go get a first win. Eli, Connor, you guys feeling a win this week or what? Are the vibes high or the vibes low? Eli, let's start with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think the vibes are always going to be high at Jordan-Hare Stadium, regardless if our team is 0-12 or if we're 12-0. To be honest, and I think with let alone the vibes, I think we win this game, Jack. I think hopefully it's not a repeat of that 08 game where it's 3-2, but hopefully we score a little bit more than a field goal. But I think we win.
All right, well, let's dive right into talking about the game, Connor. I'll start with you. These two teams, Auburn and Mississippi State, nearly identical on the stat page, right? Neither team has a very efficient offense. Both teams' defenses step up when they have to. So, Connor, in your eyes, what does Auburn have to do to pull out a victory on Saturday?
I really think it's dependent on who starts at quarterback for Mississippi State. If Will Rogers is out there, then it's going to be really tough on our guys. I think our defense will hold up regardless. But if Mike Wright's out there, then I think we have a much better chance. He didn't have a tremendous performance against Arkansas last week. A 7-3 final score. This is one of his first starts. He doesn't have a lot of experience on the field. If he's in Jordan-Hare, we can put the pressure on him. But at the end of the day, bottom line, both of these teams are not good. So it's going to be a slugfest, and it's going to be hard to watch. But I think since we're in Jordan-Hare, we'll be okay.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
Yeah.
I mean, this Auburn team has really struggled the past few weeks. But, Eli, I know you've been harping on the defense. You got some boys on this defense, and we got some returning faces. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, we got Austin Keys. Thank God he's coming back for our linebacker. And then Keontae Scott, he actually came back last week against Ole Miss, had a tremendous game coming back from his injury. So both those guys being back definitely going to help out this defense. And then obviously, we got DJ James and Nehemiah Pritchett and Marcus Harris. Those guys are always, playing pretty well. So I think for this team, going forward from even Mississippi State all the way to the Iron Bowl, it's all going to be on our defense's shoulders, to be honest, for us to win football games. This offense we just don't have any will, or I don't think we have enough firepower to beat really close shootout type games. Our defense just has to play lights out defense and not allow any points and just stop anything that Mississippi State has to try to put together. So I think, let alone for that reason, it being in Jordan-Hare, our defenses, I know they're going to play lights out. And, Mississippi State doesn't have a high-power offense like we faced with LSU or Ole Miss. So I think for that reason, I think we win this game.
Yeah, so Mississippi State puts up, I think, about 1.5 points more than us or less than us. It's right around that mark. So we're
pretty
almost
bad.
We're almost identical offenses at the bottom of the SEC down there with Vanderbilt and South Carolina. But that's not a place we want to be, and we shouldn't be. But I think when we look at the offensive side of the ball for Auburn, I think it kind of comes down to quarterback play, right, guys? I think mixing and matching quarterbacks isn't where you want to be a successful college football team or any football team, high school, college, or in the pros. So, Connor, what's the game plan on Saturday? What should we be looking for? Ideally, what is the perfect scenario, and what do you think happens?
Well, honestly, on offense, I've lost a lot of hope in our guys. I hate saying that. Obviously, I think we can always pull out a dub and go score some touchdowns. But if we keep this dual quarterback system going, I don't see how much success we really have in the air. Both of our guys can run, and they've proven that this year. I think that Robbie and Peyton, there will be times where they make a big play this weekend. I think Jarquez had his best game of the year this past week against Ole Miss. So if he can emulate that and make a few big runs for a touchdown or two, that would be huge. But receiving-wise, unless we have a quarterback in the game the entire time finding his groove, I don't see us throwing the ball downfield too much or completing any big chunk plays or anything like that. From the start, I've said that I want Holden out there or just to keep a quarterback out there for 4 quarters. That's not going to happen. I've completely lost hope of that. So let's just make do with what we have with this dual quarterback system and hopefully get some touchdowns on the ground.
Listen, we're not seeing Holden, man. I think if that was going to happen, we would have seen it in the 3 out of conference games to start the season.
Yep.
This is week 9. It's a head coach pulling for his first SEC win during his tenure at Auburn. So I don't see that happening. We saw him, Holden for a snap last week, and he looked like a sitting duck, a little scared puppy. So that probably wasn't the best introduction. As for starting quarterbacks, at this point, if you watched my post game last week, I just want a guy. I just want one. Rock with one guy. Hugh Freeze is being paid $6 million to coach this football team. Make the hard decision and pick a starting quarterback. It's not that hard. Just flip a coin. I don't care how. Just pick one. Eli, what do you think happens on Saturday? Do you think both guys get run out there? Do you think Robbie or Peyton starts? Or what's the game plan?
I mean, yeah, I think, what we want to happen and what will happen are going to be two different things, obviously. I don't really understand the thought process behind whether it's Hugh Freeze making the final call or if it's Philip Montgomery making the final call. I don't know who's doing that, but I don't understand the process of switching in guys in and out between Peyton Thorne and Robbie Ashford. Like Connor just said, you're completely messing up whatever groove Robbie would have or whatever groove Peyton Thorne would have, and to go to you, Jake, you're making the right assumption of I don't care who it is. I mean, both those guys I would say put up probably the same kind of efforts. Maybe I'm leaning towards Robbie a little bit more. That's just because I think he's more athletic. But I think it really doesn't matter who you throw in there at this point. We're week 9, man. I mean, our offense is what it is right now. I think we have to lean heavy on guys like Brian Battie, who's been playing pretty decently this year. Guys like I read earlier this week that Damari Olsen was playing without any braces or anything like that. So hopefully we can have him back for Mississippi State. We got to lean on guys like Rivaldo Fairweather, who we know is a really good receiver, and he's going to make plays in the field, and he's not going to mess up a route or anything like that. So I think that's for this offense. You have to lean on a guy, and I wish we would pick a quarterback, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
When we're talking offense, on that last drive against Ole Miss, that last touchdown drive in garbage time, Lane Kiffin did say in his post-game press conference, he said, "I wish we didn't give up the touchdown there." That was a real defense. That was a real drive for Auburn. I understand it's garbage time, and we were probably running an offense that we would never run because it would make way too much sense. But how many times did they target Rivaldo? 4? Rivaldo had 4 catches and a touchdown. I mean, how about some of those slant concepts where we're just busting zones and just sitting in the soft spot and let your quarterback make a read, right?
Right.
I think we're making it a little too complex on ourselves. Just
get
your best players the ball in open space. That's Rivaldo. If Damari Alston plays, that's Damari. That's Jarquez. That's Brian Battie. It's not like forcing the guys like Jay Fair the ball in tight coverage, because he's not going to be that guy that goes up in open in tight contested plays.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure what happens on Saturday. Go for it. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, you're exactly right. I think you hit the nail on the head right there. I feel like we're definitely overcomplicating this offense. Like you said, I mean, and I feel like, with Hugh Freeze, you see him go get a guy like Rivaldo, who is a really good tight end, and you see him, make some big plays earlier in the season. And I feel like once you see that, he's just kind of, he eases off of him. He doesn't use him in the offense until a late drive against Ole Miss where we're, down 2 touchdowns, and you think, oh, wait, how about we try to go to Rivaldo on this drive? Like, that doesn't make any sense. I don't understand. So I think, we have to lean on Rivaldo and uncomplicate, simplify as much as you can the offense. Just straight X's and O's. You run this way. Give him the ball. It's not that simple, guys. I don't understand what we're doing. Like, I don't get it. I mean, come on. Like, they've been playing ball since 8
Forever.
years old.
Yeah.
And you're trying to make it so hard on them, and it's not. Like, go ahead, Jake. Though.
I do want to ask you guys a question real quick before we get into our pick'ems. One of the things I've been seeing on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, or and Instagram, this notion that Hugh Freeze has struggled this year and his team has struggled with the X's and O's of football because of the amount and pressure that he's put on recruiting. I'll ask both of you guys. Connor, I'll start with you. Do you think that's a real a real concern as a fan of Auburn, that he's focused too much on recruiting, trying to dig out of a hole that former coaches have created?
No, I don't think so. Auburn fans might get mad at me for it. I don't mind that he goes and talks to these recruits and families in the pregame. Because we have our roster this year. We have this team. He knows what what the ceiling is for this team, and it's really not that good at the end of the day. I hate to say it, and I'm not trying to dog on these guys that are playing hard every week for Auburn, but we have to focus on the future because there's not a lot on this roster right now that is really convincing me that we're going to go 8-4, 9-3, 10-2, New Year's Six bowl. It's just not going to happen. But there are guys that are coming to our games that are 3, 4, 5-star players that we can potentially flip, that we could potentially, be a really, really good player, potential NFL players in the future. We need to focus on some of these guys. Obviously, Hugh Freeze is the head coach for Auburn. His whole life is centered around Auburn football right now. I promise you, he's worried about the X's and O's too, and he's going to get it done. We need to focus on recruiting too. It's huge, and Hugh Freeze proved at Ole Miss, proved at Liberty, and now at Auburn too. He's a great recruiter, and he's going to get guys to come play that are talented. So I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. What about you, Eli?
All right, Eli, real quick before we get to pick'ems.
Yeah, all right, I'm gonna try to be quick. So I mean, the biggest thing that you see difference between this Auburn team and previous teams that he's coached at, there has been a foundation of recruiting there. There has been a foundation of good coaching, of good development. At Auburn, you have guys like Brian Harsin that are just, I feel like, have completely destroyed this recruiting and this development for Auburn University. So what Hugh Freeze is trying to do is he's literally building this university, this football team, this program from the ground up, and he's trying to build it as high as he can. So that's why you're saying he's delegating so much time to recruiting, to calling these guys, to inviting them to games, and to inviting their family, and you see it work out. You see him flipping Perry Thompson into Marcus Reddick, guy from Alabama, flip from and then a kid from Georgia. I think it's going to pay off in the next years to come. Unfortunately, me and Jake won't be able to see that as students, but as long as it works out in the end, I think he's got to put as much time as he can into that.
Well, I hope both of you guys are right, and I hope in the future that these teams flip it around because the product on the field right now is a tough watch. So we know it won't stay like that. That's the nature of sports, and obviously that's why we all love sports. And let's keep talking about sports outside of Auburn, and let's talk some more football. Let's start out west with number 8 Oregon and our boy Bo Nix taking on Utah. Utah has said that their starting quarterback, Cam Rising, is being shut down for this season. He hasn't seen the field after he tore his ACL last year. Bo Nix still playing at a Heisman level. Connor, I'll start with you. Who do you got real quick?
I have Utah here. I think they're a sneaky team. Great defense is at Utah. I think Oregon gets shaken up and Utah wins. Close game, though.
Eli?
I'm right with Connor on this one. I think Utah just had a big win last week, and Oregon's kind of getting a little shaky right now. It's in Utah, so I got Utah.
I'm sticking with my boy Bo. I'm sticking with Bo Nix. Sticking with them. So I love the orange. Orange. Love the green jerseys. Gotta rock with Oregon. How about your boy, Riley Leonard, number 20 Duke at number 18 Louisville. 2 one-loss teams, 2 teams who are vying for ACC play championship spots. Who do you guys got?
Go ahead, Connor.
Eli, I'll start with you on this one.
All right, I'll start. Yeah, I think this is going to be a really good game. As I don't know if we know for sure if Riley Leonard's going to be playing or not, but I think that is a big deciding factor in this game. Obviously, their starting quarterback, but I still think regardless if he plays, I have Duke in this one. So yes, the Blue Devils.
Connor?
I agree. I have Duke as well. I think regardless if he doesn't play, it doesn't matter. Duke's defense shut down. Louisville's shown weaknesses in their offense. I think Duke wins by 2 or 3 scores in this game.
I'm rocking with the Blue Devils. I'm taking the basketball school in this one over the other basketball school. Let's turn to some SEC action. Big game. Number 21 Tennessee at Bob Stoops' Kentucky. Eli, let's start with you. Who are you taking?
Yeah, I mean, Tennessee proved that they are not a really good football team last week with that performance against Alabama. And I can't lie, I really haven't been keeping too many tabs on Kentucky this season. But just for the fact of the matter of watching that game against Alabama, Tennessee and Alabama, I'm just going to have to go with Kentucky on this one. I think Tennessee's just, imposter syndrome right now. They're not as good as they look or as good as they say. So, Kentucky.
Connor?
I agree, Eli. I don't think Tennessee's even a top 25 team right now. But I watched Kentucky against Georgia and a few other games briefly. Kentucky's defense is bad. Their secondary is awful. Joe Milton, I think he'll get it done with what he has over there. I get the balls in a close game.
I'm rocking with 21 Tennessee as well. Joe Milton and company, they're going to get this one done on the road. Let's jump to probably the SEC game of the week. It's always big rivalry. We got number 1 UGA against Florida, neutral site in Jacksonville. Big news out of Georgia in the last couple weeks with Brock Bowers being sidelined with a high ankle sprain and requiring surgery for probably, 4 to 6 weeks. So I would assume, unless I'm crazy, just tell me, are we all picking Georgia in this one to win outright? Unless I'm crazy. All right.
Got the dogs.
All right, so we all got the dogs. So let's dive a little bit deeper into Georgia. Without Brock Bowers, Eli, I'll start with you. Are they still the favorites to win the SEC and surefire to make the college football playoff?
I would say yes, but it's gonna be tricky. I think they're gonna have a big game that's gonna decide that is Missouri. I know even if they win that, or even if they were to lose that, they would have to trip up again, right? I'm pretty sure. But I think if they lollygag around like they do, against Florida and they look rocky like they have past a couple of weeks, and then they go and drop a game against Missouri, that might look a little iffy. But I think with their schedule after that, they don't have any really tough games. So I think you will see them in the SEC championship and probably in the playoffs as well.
Connor?
I have Georgia going to the national championship but losing to Michigan. I think that they might drop a game to Missouri or Ole Miss, just kind of depending on what goes on and their preparations before. But I think Georgia rolls. I don't see them losing to Alabama. They might drop a regular season game, but Brock Bowers comes back. I think they'll be okay. Georgia's offense has a lot of weapons, a lot of firepower. Carson Beck's a great quarterback, and obviously Georgia's defense is Georgia's defense. So I think they roll.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys know it better than anyone else. I have Georgia they're going undefeated into the SEC championship. They're going to roll in that in a tight one over either Alabama or LSU. Don't know who.
Yeah.
I have them going to the college football playoff as the number 1 seed, returning Brock Bowers. They will roll in the semifinal, and they will roll in the national championship. They will be 3-time defending national champion. I don't see that changing. I had that preseason, and I have that now, and one injury is not changing that until I see something insane. With that said, let's get to the game of the week. Our game of the week in our beautiful stadium right over there. Jordan Hare, 2:30 kickoff. Our Auburn Tigers against the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Eli, we're going to pull out a win this week, yes or no?
Look, if you've watched Strictly Auburn maybe at least once or twice by now, you know that I'm an absolute homer, which is okay. I'm going to pick Auburn maybe 9 times out of 10. And especially this week because we're taking on Mississippi State. And I just don't think their offense has enough, not enough power to take on our defense. Plus, it's at home. It's a 2:30 kickoff. It's going to be loud as usual. So, yes, I have the Auburn Tigers beating Mississippi State. It probably won't be a fun game to tune into, but obviously I'm still going to watch it. But, yeah, I have Auburn Tigers winning this one.
Connor?
Yeah, I got the Tigers here. I think it's going to be a slugfest. Like Eli said, it's not going to be pretty at all. But it's spooky on the plains this weekend. It's Halloween weekend. That place is going to be rocking. I just don't see us dropping another game. It would be really, really rough for all of us and all of Auburn Nation.
All of mankind.
Yeah, really. It'd be rough. I think Auburn wins. I think it'll be close. I think we win by 3 to 10 points.
Word.
All right. I'm the pessimist of the group. I've traditionally been the Auburn hater. But, preseason, I had us losing the first 4 SEC games. Go back and watch the preseason show. But you know which game I had us winning?
This one right here.
The here and the now. I have Auburn over Mississippi State. Auburn's going to roll. We're going to be rolling tumors on Saturday night. We're going to get our first SEC win. This team does not resemble 2012. I see us getting a win. First SEC win of the season. It's going to be vibes are going to be high. I'm going to be on the field shooting pictures. You guys are going to be up in the stands screaming your heads off. And I know 88,000 strong are going to be screaming no voices. Go check us out on Twitter at Strictly Auburn. Go check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. We're probably there. Or like, subscribe, and comment on Eagle Eye TV YouTube channel. We're also on, Wednesday nights, Sports Night in Auburn. We do a little 3-minute segment. Go check their show out. They're pretty good over there. You guys got anything else to add?
Hey, I do want to add one thing real quick. We're looking into the future of basketball season. We got some really good stuff going on for that. An actual team that we should be very proud to make videos for. Hopefully, an exciting season. A lot of anticipated players to watch, new faces, transfers. All that mess is going to be happening soon, so just be on the lookout. We might give you all some updates on Twitter, on YouTube, so just be on the lookout for that.
And if you're one of the tens of people that listens to this, if Twitter Spaces is interesting to you guys, please let us know. Send us a Twitter DM or just add us or literally anything if you're one of the tens of people. We love it. War Eagle.
Hop on.
War Eagle.
War Eagle.